Hello and welcome to Start the Beat with Sykes. My name is Sykes and this is my podcast. Before we get started, I just wanted to take a quick moment to thank everyone who checked out the last episode. If you're one of those people, thanks so much for coming back. But for those of you out there who are new to the show, welcome. Please feel free to make yourselves at home. And as always, there's beer and soda and water in the fridge. Cheers. Well, yeah.
Yes.
Bring out them water bottles. We're all good.
Pansies.
Steve, I didn't get you.
A lovely Sunday with a lovely table of men. Just the way I like it. I'm sitting here today with 4/4 of the band. Is there 4 people in your band?
Yeah.
Technically. Floating drummers.
We play as a 5-piece, but we don't have a drummer. We hire a drummer.
That's some typical Pittsburgh shit. So make some noise for my friends in Lotus Kid.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Since we have a whole table, a whole medley of bodies in the room today, why don't we start with Mikey and have everybody introduce themselves around the world?
Hi, I'm Mikey, and we started with me.
Hi, I'm Zach.
Oh, my name's Doug.
My name's Doug.
I'm Steve. I play guitar.
Oh, yeah, we should have did that.
Right?
Why play bass?
There's 3 people in the band that do nothing and 1 guitar player. They don't have a drummer.
I hold it down.
That's
all
the history.
Day.
That's my history of the band. But if anybody would care to elaborate on a more accurate one, who wants to start? How'd the band start? Why are you doing this? Why are you playing it? Why the fuck are you playing music? Why? Why? There's enough bands. Stop.
There's too many bands.
No, but what's up? When did Lotus Kid start?
It's kind of hard to say. Zach and I have been playing music for 10 years now.
Probably. You remember the golden age, the Giorgios and keynote shows.
Yeah.
I guess we're kind of a continuation of your high school band. Just kept changing members and names, and eventually they started letting me sing for some reason.
Sure.
I think you forced your way into
I forced
that.
my way into
You
that.
get older, but you keep the name Kid in the title, and it tricks
Correct,
everyone.
right. Yeah.
Right.
Fair
When
enough.
did I think Lotus Kid was official in 2016?
Yeah.
Okay, so
But we've been evolving since then with different bands and stuff.
I gotcha.
So
And it's always been in the same realm of music. You haven't you didn't start as a
We never grew up.
you weren't a
Is that what you're
crapcore
saying?
band
Yes.
or anything.
no.
Oh, you used to do the breakdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Used to be
bands ago.
easy core.
Yeah,
The very
yeah.
soft side of it.
I'm a big fan of throwing a bunch of genres into a pot, but I'm really glad that breakdowns aren't trendy and pop punk anymore because it always made my
Same.
skin crawl.
Yeah. You liked it.
I disagree with you.
I said exactly.
Well, I think too. I mean, I think so much of it. I mean, I'm not saying that it was an adolescent thing, but just maybe at that time in your life, you never heard anything like it, and you were really excited. I mean, this comment's coming from somebody whose favorite album of all time is a Mindless Self-Indulgence album and had Slipknot pictures hanging up in his bedroom in high school.
Yeah.
So I am no fucking bastion of what is good or bad music by any means. But I totally understand, growing up, you find shit, it's tight.
Yeah, I agree with the adolescence thing. It's definitely it reminds you of high school.
Yeah.
When you hear it.
Nostalgia.
Totally. Immature music, but
Yeah.
I still enjoy a little bit sometimes,
So one thing that I'm curious about is how over the past decade or 2 decades, I mean, pop punk's a lot older than that, but how do you all feel just now in 2020? Maybe you'll say over the past 20 years. Since 2000, how has pop punk matured, or has it not?
It takes itself super serious now.
Yeah, before the Blink-182 and the bands like that, they were just fart jokes and dick jokes the whole time.
Yeah.
And now it's actually we have something to say.
And I'm not saying that in defense of it. I don't even really like pop. I think I'm just good at yelling in tune.
It's
And that's all you have to do.
a lot of bands just seem to have more lyrical content nowadays,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's maybe a lot of the emo crossover.
Yeah.
It seemed
Yeah,
that's where that
absolutely,
stuff
yeah.
kind of came. People were well, let's write more
Sad.
introspective music.
Definitely. Yeah.
Or sad, whatever you want to call it.
Everyone's just super sad nowadays.
Yeah.
I don't think that's ever not been the case.
Well, maybe.
I feel that there's a lot more people that it's easier to
it's easier to capitalize on it.
Yeah.
I feel like.
It's
sure.
style
I was gonna
to
say
be
it's easier
sad.
to promote your sadness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's you can't be a band, especially in the pop punk genre, without having some snarky, sad comment on a t-shirt.
What is like emo rap is like the biggest thing nowadays
Yeah.
too. So like
Who would have seen that coming?
It's like bled into like all these other, like music forms and just like culture in general. Like,
My little sister's 15 and she loves the emo rap. She asked me if I like it. I'm like, I don't know what this even is.
Juice World.
It's like it's somebody took everything that was MySpace and threw it in a blender.
Yeah,
I enjoy
And that's
that.
what's happening. You have like the sounds of like emo and hip hop and like the look of scene.
Mhm.
Like, and it's all in a blender, and that's what people look like now. They're all like covered in tattoos and have crazy hair, and they're screaming over rap beats. That's like about being sad and the internet and stuff. And it's like, what happened? This is so strange.
They need more breakdowns.
I think who was that? Broken Side?
I was just gonna say,
remember that?
Side,
Remember that band?
Crunkcore. It was exactly what you just described, screaming over beats, but it like it's maybe a little more artistic.
Who else was
now.
there? Was there blood on the dance floor?
Oh, that was the neon days.
Yeah, Neon.
Do anybody follow a page on Facebook, Relics of MySpace Music?
No.
Oh my God. It's just screenshots of like Alessandra's tour dates.
Nice.
The millionaire's profile picture,
Hell yeah.
if that's what they even called it.
So I'm guessing everybody sitting at the table right now, with the exception of my grandpa asses in their 20s, whether it's, oh, really?
I'm out of 20s.
You're out of the 20s, huh?
Old.
Nice.
Dad.
Congrats, you made it. So we all grew up in one way or another through that generation.
Yeah.
So you, fellow grandpa at the table, what were you listening to like 10 years ago? How did you get into the pop punk stuff?
Well, I think 10 years ago was the super metalcore days.
Yeah.
And then eventually you kind of like, because you start with like Newfound Glory and Simple Plan. That was like popular. Then I got super heavy, and then I was like, you know what? Let's stop the breakdowns. And then I don't know what emo pop punk band I started listening to. One showed me probably Story So Far as like first EP, and I was like, oh, this is cool. And I kind of like went from there into it.
Yeah. I remember being really also like super engrossed in, like I mentioned before, like, the Slipknots and all that stuff. I grew up listening to a lot of wild music, but the one curveball that was thrown at me like in like the early 2000s would have been Glassjaw.
Oh, I love it.
It was like, whoa, like what is this? Because it's like intense and chaotic, but also very emotive, but not like in a pop punky sort of way. Because I never like really gravitated towards a lot of that stuff. And while I keep bringing up pop punk, is it fair to call Lotus Kid a pop punk band? What do you classify yourselves as?
Trashy pop punk.
Yeah, we're
okay.
Definitely. Yeah.
yeah. We try to like just do what we want, but I guess like we kind of just like fall into that category.
The umbrella,
Yeah.
definitely pop punk.
Yeah, we play with a lot of pop
sure.
punk bands.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense.
We play to that fan base. But
yeah, I feel that like whenever I have listened to any of your stuff that I have listened to, it sounds like pop punk to me, but a lot more like high octane in a way. That's a little bit,
that's fair.
a little bit faster and more like
punk beats and
some riffy.
Yeah,
sometimes.
more just kind of like a lot of part changes, and it's not so much like about the hook. It's just about like the overall feel of the song.
I agree
right.
with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been called Stompy Pop Punk by my one friend.
I really
Stompy.
Tiny New Bedroom. He said, he's like, that song,
It could stomp to the beginning of
Some
that.
stomp.
do a lot of that. Banana Bread.
It's interesting just, seeing people that are, because they're even regardless, like there's still like a, not in a bad way, but an adolescence or youthfulness to the sound of pop punk and to the sound of what you're doing. And it's so interesting now, 20, 30, 40 years later, how far, if you want to go back to the Descendants, we can call it 40 years.
Mhm.
Number one band.
And I love the Descendants. But anyways, sidetrack. It's funny like seeing those guys, because I saw them when they came here, and like seeing them, they're in their 50s probably, maybe older, and they're just like still ripping this stuff that sounds like 18-year-olds wrote it. And it's so interesting seeing the evolution of music and seeing old people play things that still sound young, because it's still music that is embraced by a younger generation.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing.
Well, we saw the Descendants in Cleveland, and Milo was wearing a water backpack.
Oh yeah.
And like I was like, all right, you can grab a water bottle. You don't have to wear that.
I waited on Milo once.
At Condado?
Yeah. I didn't even acknowledge he was Milo. I didn't want to be weird,
Yeah.
He's just trying to eat
He probably
some food.
appreciates that more. Maybe like
he was
a
with
nod.
like a 15-year-old kid who was like talking to me about my Offspring tattoo. And I was just like, I gotta like acknowledge who you are. And I did
you're
it.
getting called out.
Yeah, I think I did.
Whenever, now you're putting out music in 2020, it's a lot different than the MySpace days, but it's similar in a lot of ways because you have your band profiles and you got to promote on the internet. What is the internet like for Lotus Kid?
It's effective. Like I don't really like the internet.
But
Yeah,
you-
it's stressful.
It's stressful.
but
It's
it's
a
like-
commitment. It's like
it's
a
weird
chore,
because nowadays I feel like this happens now more than ever, where you could like be able to consistently sell out, your hometown and maybe, a couple of like surrounding areas, and then like maybe not have the internet traction that another band has, and you sell like way more tickets than them. It's like the internet sometimes like that gives like a false perception, or like, I don't know. It's just weird. It's like if you're good at the internet, it's
Yeah.
much easier to
Yeah.
get, your product across, whatever it is,
Yeah.
That's why like people blow up so fast sometimes, I feel like,
I think that it depends. It's like people will blow up fast, but then the longevity of it doesn't necessarily.
That's why it's like
It's
that
like-
perception.
Yeah, it's like one thing. You can throw a bunch of money or resources at something and be like, look at me, but without actually having a personality or being able to maintain a fan base or build it from there, it's like almost worthless.
Yeah.
I find that there's a big lesson to be learned from like hip hop and rap artists being the biggest, most popular thing right now. And I think it
Mhm.
makes so much sense because it ties in perfectly with social media and everybody's
100%.
just giving a fuck about, nobody really cares about your music as much as like who you are as a person. And if
right.
you're like a rapper, it's a lot easier to do that than like being a band because it's like one entity, unless you can all like fucking Power Ranger Megazord your personalities together and promote it as one thing. And that's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
It's super duper hard.
People seem to really just gravitate towards the overall brand and like, just like that's, the look of that entity, like that, the rapper, like, it's like they buy into their brand. Like, I don't know. I think of like, like Wiz Khalifa, like Taylor Gang and all that stuff. They buy into that and like, I don't know.
Yeah, like the
That's a move
Taylor
going
Gang
forward.
thing is smart because it's like, it's a thing that you can be a part of.
Yeah. And it
Or
seems
like-
like every rapper has that nowadays.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
From
It's like
Taylor
that,
Gang to Juggalos. There's plenty of families to be a part of.
yeah.
For sure. And then even with even in metal you have it, Slipknot, they got
Oh,
they
yeah.
got
The maggots.
the maggots.
The maggots,
They
yeah.
got the maggots and there's the
Kiss Army.
Kiss Army.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go.
I'm enlisted.
You got your number.
I served my country. my friend joined the Kiss Army and he'd like pay them like, I don't know, it was about like $50-$60 something. And he didn't like get his like entry kit for like a year and a half. And it was like a sticker book.
Oh, sick.
Hell yeah. If
He got duped.
if Lotus Kid could have like an army
Oh,
or
we-
a fan club, what would
Trash
it-
lords.
It would be the trash.
The trash
Wow, that
lords.
was quick.
Yeah.
That's
we,
like,
we already kind of have that going. All of our merch says trash lords. We have a trash lords shirt for you.
Nice.
It's in Zach's car.
My car.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. So I'm gonna be inducted, an
You're
honorary
inducted.
member,
You're inducted.
an honorary
fake,
trash lord.
fake knighted with a t-shirt.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So outside of the internet, playing shows, being a real band, doing a thing, getting on the road, doing the hard work, letting the kids know what the fuck is up. How's that been treating you?
It's been fun.
It's been a lot of fun.
That's
Yeah.
the best part.
Recording.
Yeah. 100%.
Just I mean,
That's what we want to do. We don't want to be on the internet.
right. You want to
Yeah.
have the presence of like we
wanna
actually do
just-
play these.
Yeah,
Wanna-
do something.
Want to get
Well,
you in the room so you can see what it's about,
Yeah.
Well, so that's
what's fun.
the interesting dynamic now of like musicians in 2020. The most popular ones, again, we're going to rap and hip hop,
Yeah.
and they play. I mean, they tour, but they don't tour like
Right.
a DIY band tours.
Correct.
It's a lot
Yeah.
different. It's a
Yeah.
lot less frequent, and it's a lot more easy.
Upscale.
It's a lot
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
cushy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's the interesting part comes in with how social media plays a part in it, because I always tell bands, don't focus on the social media so much. Just play shows, go tour, be nice to people. As long as your music isn't terrible, you'll do fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
Be nice to people, play shows, be nice. That's it.
Like you can listen to a record all day, but the live show is what makes a band for everybody. I think most people can agree. Like,
Definitely.
you know, you see, we'll say Mikey in person, he's wearing that shirt and a bolo tie and he's singing pop punk. You're like, well, I don't know what's going on there, but I'm all about that.
Fuck with that.
But the interesting like double-edged sword of that, maybe I don't know if that's the right metaphor, but would be once you get past your like tri-state area or whatever, like, you know, you start getting into the fringes.
Yeah.
You really need the social media
Yeah.
to help promote what you're doing, but it's hard to get the same traction as just like a rapper.
Yeah.
I don't know how to like, I haven't figured this out yet, so I can't like drop any knowledge on the world. I'm just something that I'm currently trying to figure out.
Well, I mean, there's so many bands and everybody is friends with someone in a band and they get flooded with flyers.
It's so,
Yeah.
I find it's like insanely hard now to book out of town if nobody knows, if you don't know anybody. Like,
Gotta make circles, start small,
Yeah.
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 get strong close to you and keep going out, you know?
Keep building.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess that first step's the hardest step.
100%.
You know?
'Cause it's like the snowball effect.
But then, yeah,
you know?
then once you
Yeah.
got some homies or,
Yeah.
you know, a few hours away, it just picks
You
up.
start booking tours
Well-
exclusively on Facebook.
Literally.
Every city's local scene page.
Oh, yeah.
And then being like, here's our music. Can you host a show
Yeah,
for us? And
that used to suck.
it sucks. It works, but it sucks. And then you
Show
get annoyed
trading,
and-
you know?
Dog shit shows.
I said, we've played a couple stinkers out of town for sure.
But it's out of town.
That's
Yeah.
part of it. Like,
Just
I feel like you just have to go
first
through
step.
those days.
yeah, you just
'cause-
like hope that at least one cool person is there.
Right, yeah.
One person who wants you to come back.
And then
Yeah.
you come back and then it's better the next time.
Yeah.
Definitely.
With playing out of town and, you know, taking the time off work and getting the finances together, vehicles and merch and, you know, all those things, how do you do it? How do you make it work?
We learned to not own a van. You want to rent.
There you go.
Just trying to cut expenses because, you know, you might have to pay to rent that van, but when you're not using it, it's not sitting in front of your house. Parts needing to be changed. Insurance needing to be paid. That's a pretty big one.
Totally.
It's like important to like work hard and, you know, play, you know, as many shows as like you can, but like you don't want to just be like, you know, like
Yeah. it's-
burning yourself out too.
Right.
You don't want to grind.
Start
and,
playing
like,
smarter shows.
yeah, exactly.
If
Play
you have to
smart
pick or
shows.
choose-
Yeah, you know,
Yeah. How do you go about picking and choosing shows
that's like
now?
that's like a fine line. I feel like.
Is it just a vibe?
Well, we know-
gut feeling.
We know if we're going to go out on the road a weekend, we're going to play with friends bands. We're not going to take the risk on a weekend to do something new. You know,
Yeah.
that way we have that nice cushion. We know we're going to like have some people there, make some money. We're not going to lose out on the whole tour. You know what I mean? Try to make like anchor dates is a
Yeah.
smart way when you're still like booking for yourself.
Have you considered taking that step of like working with a booking agent? Have you done that before?
So it's actually funny. Today's March 1st and we have a booking agent, but as of today, she's actually going to take over as management as well.
Wow.
So I'm gonna sign the contract. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Well, we haven't announced that. So our next tour that it is announced was somewhat self-booked. It was like mostly the other band that we're going out with, and then some of the dates I took care of. But we actually have a tour coming up in June that's going to be in support of our upcoming EP that this company FBT Entertainment actually booked for us.
Nice.
So
And how was that relationship established?
I was aware of them. They booked like the Sophomore Slump Fest and work with this band Bloom we really like. So we just hit them up and we're like, hey, this is what we do. We're going to go out and tour regardless if anybody wants to help. But if you want to hop on, it'd be cool. You know, maybe we could be good to each other. You know, we got some ties here in Pittsburgh. If you have any bands,
Yeah.
you want to come through. And they're like, yeah, let's do it.
That's awesome. Yeah. Teamwork is such a huge thing,
Yeah.
especially if you're trying to take it to that next level, but it can be so hard finding the right people.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So
Yeah,
you've been,
I mean,
you've been
yeah, we-
working with this person for a while then?
Well, no. So it's going to be the tour we're going to do in June is going to be the first thing that they actually have booked.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay. And then what was the deal with the management situation?
well, they're going to kind of step in.
Oh,
and,
so
like,
it's
help take a load off of
Yeah.
okay. I
We-
gotcha.
me.
We just like started to get like we just got along well, so it's like yeah, it just kind of makes
Yeah.
sense. We're just like
We're
talking
just-
every day,
yeah.
and it's just like you know,
Things are kind of like
it's just like a natural
happening
progression.
fast and becoming a little overwhelming. So it's not really that, you know, they're just going to take over everything. It's just they're going to help like guide us, like give us like, you know, dates we have to have things done by, ideas. Do you want to try this next time instead
Yeah.
of like your last plan? I think your plan's cool. Let's just like elaborate on it more. Make sure we have everything written out.
That's so crucial. That's so awesome. That's like one thing of all the things that I have done. I've never been able to successfully find somebody that can like do that. And I don't know if it's just like, okay, well, like, you know, I just do dog shit things and nobody's interested, or I just haven't found the right person.
It's probably that. I mean,
self accountability is important.
We've talked to other people and it's just kind of been like, I don't know if we want to take this route because like we worked hard on this. We don't want to just put our project in someone else's hands. So, you know, it's like you kind of just gotta spend some time and really look.
Yeah, it did happen.
or get lucky.
When,
you know,
when Grey Walker put out our last album, like right before we were like getting ready to announce all the releasing and everything, there was a label that reached out to us because they had heard about us, and they like basically just wanted to like take the album and release it, which sounded cool, but they were like, well, we're gonna have exclusive rights for
the one that was already out.
No, we were just about to release it, but everything was done.
So you were
like, it was all like we'd already paid for recording and mastering and all the art, like everything was done. So it was pretty much tied in a bow for them. And then they wanted to like take it and release it and have exclusive rights to it after everything was already paid for. And we weren't going to have anything like, you know, it was just kind of like a real like
trash.
Like, were you like just like waiting to hit us up until now, or was it just a weird coincidence? But we ended up not doing it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was a good move or a bad move, but whatever.
Sounds good.
Sometimes you can end up in this scenario where, you know, the label will be like, hey, we're going to re-release your old music. And you're like, oh, cool. You know, distributions, new people are going to hear it. But really, it's just like, you're going to make money off of something that they had no part of whatsoever. Happened before you even knew whoever the label or whatever,
like,
you know.
That's like the depressing side of like, you see all of the like, available for the first time on vinyl and all that sort of stuff. It's just like, that's tight, but like the band's not getting any of that money,
right?
Most likely, especially for like any of those like Victory Records stuff or the Roadrunner stuff, any of that like big label stuff. That's all just like shit that like, I feel like I'm fully convinced that labels just hold on to that stuff until like things are getting bad. Like, oh, shit, we need to make an extra 20 grand this month. Fuck it, reissue the Glassjaw records. Pull them out. Time to do it.
Same thing as when a band does like a 10-year show with a record.
That's what I was thinking.
20-year, 50-year.
Yeah, I'm fucking sick of that.
13-year and 6 months.
That's just, but I am really excited for the Armor for Sleep 15-year What to Do When You're Dead tour. I will be going to that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, I go to all those shows.
Yeah.
Right. But it is like, you got to think like, is this a money grab?
It's
just a money
grab.
Just give us. Please give us.
I mean, you're in a band. You know what it's
Right.
like.
Yeah.
And like, can you imagine like being in a band that does really well? Like a good example would be like Under Oath.
oh,
And then
yeah.
you're not in Under Oath anymore.
When they were in
Yeah,
Under
that
Oath like
sucks.
15 years
Yeah.
or whatever.
But and then you don't have that anymore.
You're
And
just
then
the
all of
guy.
a sudden it's like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, 10 years later, okay, let's just fucking tour again.
Yeah.
Let's make some money.
Yeah, and it's just like, and then they probably make the money that they made in the 10 years that they were off on like 1 week of shows, if even that many shows.
Yeah. Easily.
Yeah.
It might be cool if you were like in a 90s band and you could just like live off the royalties and your stuff was on the radio.
The early
Just not
2000s
work a
still got
job, you know?
royalties.
But that's the thing that's so interesting about, again, getting to social media and individuals versus like brands. The fact that like a band as big as an Under Oath or any other, a Fallout Boy, they didn't do music forever, and Patrick Stump's solo career fucking tanked, and then they just attached Fallout Boy to it, and the music sounds exactly the same as it did when he was doing solo music, and now they're big again.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
like people
It's
will
bad.
That's a really
attach
good point.
people will attach themselves to a brand but not the individuals within it, and that I find that like really interesting, because I don't think it was always like that.
No,
But
I
I
think
don't know.
musicians, we like all of us would follow a person. If like, just say like Milo from the Descendants had like his own solo stuff, we would all follow that. But like the average consumer wouldn't, because they're like, that's not what I want. That's not Fallout Boy. That's just Patrick Stump being skinny and writing pop songs.
Wearing a suit.
Yeah. And that's pretty much what Fall Out Boy is now.
So you are Bastion Brian about Fall Out Boy. You're just Bastion. Is that the word you used? You don't remember?
Yeah, I did use
Bastion.
that. Yeah.
That's a good word.
With
Yeah.
how do you all feel about like so there was like I feel like every pop punk band, maybe not every, but every band in the pop punk genre and around that spectrum over the past 10 years has like really just kind of embarrassed themselves as far as I'm concerned. Has anybody listened to the new Green Day album
Oh,
no.
I tried.
It's so bad.
or seen any of that stuff?
I still can't like get into American Idiot, so
I guess
definitely not listening. To
well, I guess Fall Out Boy probably. I mean, I guess they were. I guess is it fair to say that they were pop punk at one point in time?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I guess you're
Yeah,
brave.
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. And now they've evolved into
re-
basketball music.
yes, yeah.
You can't.
whenever there's a goal at the Pens game,
Yeah.
cue what light 'em up? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, but like
They're on the EA Sports
Uma Thurman.
playlist.
Panic at the Disco and Fall Out Boy, they're the same band in my opinion now.
Yeah.
100%.
I thought the one song was, I got the bands confused. I was like, I can't tell the difference anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, at the time, whenever all that stuff was new, I wasn't really listening to it, and I was confused even then. I thought there was similarities.
Mm.
Yeah.
It was just Panic was more whimsical, it seemed, but even Fall Out Boy would have been starting to get into their more whimsical stuff with what was the album with the fucking cartoon bear on it?
Folly
Infinity.
Ado.
Yeah,
Folly
that
Ado.
That's
or
Zach.
Infinity on High, maybe. No,
Yeah.
that's the one with the sheep. Right,
That's
That's
Infinity
like
on High is the sheep.
Yeah,
That's where
I
I start to.
they started getting like really like overproduced.
It was still,
and
it was like
Yeah.
really
They had, like-
it was
like
still good
Jay
songs,
Z
but
on their
yeah.
album or whatever
Yeah.
it was on.
Still felt like bandy though, like
Yeah.
not just like a Patrick Stump
Enough
project
of a
though.
band. Yeah.
Like you could tell they probably wrote it in a room and then watered it down. Now it's just like all probably done on a computer with a producer, and then he just comes in and sings. You know?
The one band from that era that I actually enjoy their evolution would have been Paramore. I think
Yeah.
they did a really good
They're
job.
like R&B band.
They're like synth pop now. Like
Yeah.
they just got so
I
many
feel
different
like-
elements.
they were just always a pop rock band, and it just catered to the time frame.
Yep.
Like they were doing
Yeah.
pop rock in 2003, and that's what it sounded like. And now pop rock in 2018, 19 sounds like that because
Yeah.
like rock bands don't have guitars anymore, but rap acts have guitars and the beats. It's really weird how that flipped.
Yeah,
Well,
it did.
Haley does a solo now.
yeah,
You know, I was
that
just
stuff's
about-
awesome.
Yeah,
I
it's
really
good.
like
It's
it.
really good.
Yeah.
I
And
have
it's
not
weird
listened
because
to it.
I always took like her, like, Paramore kind of just as like the Haley Williams project. And then, but
Right.
like, it's funny because like she'll take off time to like reset her mind so she can write her own solo stuff, which is that's pretty cool,
Yeah, I
Try to
think
do
that,
it justice.
I mean, I know that Taylor York helped her with a lot of the writing and the production for her solo stuff. So it's basically a Paramore album, but it's like a lot darker and kind of weird in a way.
That's
It's
fine.
definitely not. It's awesome. I really like it.
It's funky.
Yeah, it's
I enjoy it too.
it's cool, but I could definitely see. I don't know why they decided to release it as Haley Williams versus Paramore, but whatever. You have that kind of money and power, you could do
Right,
whatever you
yeah.
want.
Yeah.
So, when is Lotus Kid gonna stop using guitars and start using synthesizers to get with the times?
It'd be Mikey's solo EP.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The Lou Berg experience.
Oh yeah.
Got to produce that.
I don't think the voice, like not in an offensive way, I don't think the voice of our band fits that kind of music.
It would,
Maybe.
unless we want to do like industrial.
We could change it.
Yeah. Start hitting
Nine
kegs
Inch
and
Nails.
nonsense.
Yeah, I don't know. We just maybe someday we're just not interested in it.
That was
You know.
being half
I know.
serious.
Yeah.
It's I find that it's really interesting now in terms of the metal world that I'm in. It's really hard being in a metal band that doesn't have singy choruses, which I thought that would be fucking over by now, but it's definitely it's gotten way worse. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
if you don't have someone that can scream and also sound like a dollar store Justin Timberlake, you're fucked. And
People like those melodies.
how does that, if it at all, blend into the genre and the world of music you're in? Because like you said, you're doing more just like yelly and key, and like
Yeah.
there's melody, and
I
things,
guess,
but it's not
I
like
guess I was kind of joking
you're not-
about that. It was
you're not. It
self-deprecation.
doesn't seem like it's so focused on like melody in terms of like a pop sense.
yeah.
I don't know. Like how do you approach writing vocally for this style of music?
I mean, I definitely dig melodies.
Yeah.
I don't really know. I guess a lot of it is either Zach or I come up with a guitar part and just do whatever sounds good over it.
But I think your main focus is lyrics. I
Definitely.
think that's what you like to focus on a lot is maybe write something that means something to me
Yeah.
and hopefully
then
this
however it
translates to
fits.
somebody else.
And like, let me write like a story out, let me like,
Yeah.
That's funny because I've been wanting to get away from that. Maybe I shouldn't.
But like everyone's
Might make
favorite,
people like and not like us.
but everyone's favorite song is the story of self-worth. You know, that's just a giant story of
Yeah. Yeah, they're all just me being completely overindulgent, just like spilling it out there.
Yeah.
So when you write, I mean, I'm sure it's probably different for every song, but do you have like a melody in mind and try to write to the melody? Or are you like,
Sometimes that happens, but I don't think anything we've released is that way. It's usually just like we'll have the music and I'll just do whatever the first instinct is. And then like I'll go back and like refine whatever I think I might need changed. Bring it into the band. Zach will be like, I don't like any of that.
that's 100% accurate.
Go back and just, yeah, I don't know. Like the lyrics and melodies seem to come at the same time
I got you.
for me.
Yeah.
I know that's just how I do it.
Everyone's different.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I get it.
Yeah.
There's no wrong answer.
Yeah. I'm trying actually to, aside from like Lotus Kid, do this like exercise where I'm trying to write songs with the acoustic guitar that are literally just like I record into an iPhone.
Yeah.
Whatever comes out, that's a song.
Yeah. It's like
Literally no influence of anything. Just maybe like change some words so they make a little bit of sense.
gotta like practice your craft, you know what I mean? It's like songwriting is a craft, and there's like a reason that like, you know, in bands you just can shit out music, you know, it's because they practice writing songs all day long, and like, you know, you gotta like write the shitty shit so the good shit comes out, you know?
Sure. Yeah. You can't have the good without the bad.
Totally.
And I find that anytime I'm working on music, if it's been a while since like I've done anything that's a stinker, an obvious stinker, I have to remind myself, maybe I need to go back through this stuff or like play it for a friend, because all of this can't be good.
Right.
Even if I'm feeling all of it, it all can't be good.
Totally.
It's like making yourself a bowl of food and you're like, this is good. And you share some with a roommate and they're like, this is fucking foul, dude.
I read on the internet, so it's like really true, and we know that for sure. But Rivers from Weezer wrote like 100 some songs before he started writing the Blue record, a Blue album, as they call it.
Well, what's his name? Saves the Day.
I don't know.
I can't think of his name. Drawing a huge blank. But
I don't know either.
But I know he would just write songs for the sake of keeping himself sharp with
Yeah.
it. Like
100%.
just doing it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if they're country songs or whatever, just writing whatever.
Yeah, I think that I try to I'm always curious when I read stories or hear comments about other artists that have written hundreds of songs. It's like, I have like a lot of ideas, and I wonder if people were saying like, oh, like a half-assed idea is a song that I wrote that didn't work out, or if they actually wrote like fully fledged songs.
Well, whenever they went to the studio, they had a song, and the guy was like, no, rewrite this. So you guys rewrote the...
I think we had a song we didn't have. I wrote the lyrics like in the van on the way up.
Oh, that's
They
the
were-
worst.
Well, we were trying to be open to it. Like, hey, really produce this one. You know?
Okay.
So we were like, this song is pretty rough. Change what you want. And it ended up like a little B part, little riff ended up becoming like the main riff of the song. And then we wrote a whole new chorus.
So you've worked with a producer then in the past.
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
We
Kind of
worked-
letting your guard down and letting somebody kind of
I'd been
shit all over your
I'd been
stuff.
through it when I was like younger for the first time, and then worked with like many producers since. And the first time it like sucks because it's like, wow, I suck at this. I need to, you know, I'm not playing in time or whatever. I don't know. It's kind of cool though to get like whipped into shape.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, it's constructive. It's gonna make you better.
It also depends just like how, you know, you take everything, you know, because like everyone in the room's main goal should be is like, hey, we want to make this song like sound the best,
Yeah.
you know, like you just get the best piece of art we can, you know, and as long as everyone's on the same page, you know, it can't, you know, has the potential to be like a really healthy process, you know, because like we were saying before, you want to like get as many ears on that, you know, song.
Yeah,
so
totally.
you know, it's
Sometimes
not shit, right?
it
you
might
know?
hurt someone's feelings.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, and that's
whatever.
why you just kind of like gotta like separate the egos. Like, hey, it's like it's okay,
Yeah.
you know.
I think the most important thing to do is to remember, if you're working with a producer, that you chose to
You chose to be there.
you
agreed
for
to
them.
that,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like you
100.
chose them because you trust their opinion and their ear and
Exactly.
everything.
Yeah.
You're
So-
trying to get something out of them. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
We had a part in one of the songs we took to him. Remember, I started like breakdowns.
Oh yeah. he just
It
like,
wasn't like a breakdown, but it was like a rhythmic chuggy part.
It was a total breakdown.
and this dude was in
Dunk.
like He was on like the Easy Core tour. What was it called?
It was called the Easy Core tour.
It was called the Easy Core.
He was on
was like
that,
4
so
years
he's like,
strong.
I know
Data
Easy
Number,
Core.
Crime and
This shit's
Stereo.
not cool anymore. Take that out of your song. I was like, I really like that part. But we changed it, and it definitely is for the better now that I listen back to it. I think.
Yeah, I think too it could be really easy as a songwriter to write for yourself at times. I mean,
Yeah.
it's your fucking song, so you want
Right.
to, but you forget that there are other people in the band and everything needs to complement each other, you know, like a fine plate of food. And also people need to listen to it. It's a conversation between you and the listener.
Yeah.
And if you're doing something that's gonna, you know, trigger Myspace PTSD in their brain, then maybe
that's what that.
If I have to live with that, you all should have to live with that.
But I totally get it. I think that's why it's still fun to maybe it could have the thing I wanted to say is like it's funny because we all know goddamn well probably in like 12 years that shit's gonna be happening again.
Oh, yeah.
We're all gonna
I
be
hope-
like,
yeah.
are you
It'll
fucking
come
I
back
think it's
around.
already starting to.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
5 years. 5 years it's back.
You think
Yeah.
5 years?
Yeah.
What's been 5 to 6 years? There's like you said,
Okay.
10 years. So it's coming.
It'll probably be like almost satirical, right? But it'll be back.
What's that band you like? Is it Kid Liberty?
I like Kid Liberty.
Yeah, they're coming back.
I hope we're on the tour with them. We should bring it back.
With Lotus Kid in 2020, what is like any sort of release schedule
Yeah.
coming
June.
up? June.
Yeah. 20.
Yeah, you mentioned you had an EP coming
Late
out,
June.
right?
June
20th. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
with a 3-week long tour and support.
it's not going to release before that. It's going to release on the
Gonna
date.
release in the middle of the tour.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
So, how long was the recording process for this EP?
We
Forever.
went to
6
yeah.
days.
Well, yeah, we went to Hoppet Kong. Is that how you say it?
Hop
New
it
Jersey.
Kong, New Jersey.
Barbershop Studios with this guy Gary Sione, and I think we were there for. Wasn't it? We were scheduled for 5. We ended up 6 because
We scheduled for 5. He had to like go back to Philly for something.
yeah,
His like wife's car broke down, and so it was 6 days. But I think it was pretty painless.
yeah, it was-
Aside from having to rewrite a whole song.
yeah. And then we didn't finish harmony vocals there. We didn't have enough time, so it ended up the EP ended up coming back to Pittsburgh, and a friend Andy Stambaugh like added some like extra guitars and mixed the whole thing, and I did my harmony vocals. Oh, some with Paul too. So that kind of like held it up, but we weren't like really in any hurry because we're still like touring on the first EP.
Yeah.
And releasing videos from that and playing shows and
Really milking it.
really trying to milk it. 'Cause
Well,
why
it-
not? You know what I mean?
I think that it's really easy to forget when you're on a lower level that nobody has heard your music.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like you think that
Yeah.
you've heard, like
Yeah.
you've heard it.
Yeah.
and,
We
like,
don't,
You know,
we're in a rush to write anything.
it's like, oh, you know, we've played 100 shows in front of 40 people. Everyone's heard this. Like,
Yeah.
not really.
Right. Yeah.
You still have probably a lot to do. So, but also it's good to have the bun in the oven, if you will.
Yeah.
So you have something new and fresh to give everybody.
Yeah. So we're starting to play singles from our new EP.
Yeah, it's always I'm literally in that moment right now where it's like we have new stuff, but we also have our old album. And when should we start playing new songs? Is it too soon? Is it not? And it's just like nobody fucking cares. If you want to
That's-
play the
yeah.
song, play the song.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
don't, then don't.
You always yell, "Do you want to hear a new song?"
Like,
One person.
These are
goes,
all new. I've never heard any of these.
Who are
even
you?
even like some of your friends that have probably seen you a half dozen times are like, "Was that a new one?"
Yeah.
Like, no.
Absolutely.
It wasn't. Oh, okay. With the EP, do you have like a title and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Do you want to promo
It's
any
going
of
to
that
be
stuff?
called All the Things You Dread.
Okay.
It's 5 songs. It's very similar to the first EP, but just kind of like improved, bigger sounds. The first EP, we had like a strict rule to not add anything outside of the band. So everything you hear is what you would hear like on stage at a live performance.
Okay.
We kind of like layered in nothing too crazy, but there's like acoustic guitars, tambourines, pianos.
Yeah. You
Stuff.
you fuck with backtracks at all?
No.
Not live.
Well, I guess you don't have
We
a
like-
drummer, so you gotta find someone that can play to a click.
Oh, we
Right.
we don't fuck with you. You don't play to a click, but like but we could. I don't know. We just like vocal harmonies and stuff, so we just try to pull that out. It's fun.
Hell
you
yeah.
know?
Vocal harmonies.
It's fun
all,
to not have
all
tracks
day.
Yeah.
Plus, like, I don't know, live. We're like a very live band. Like Doug has like a distortion pedal on his bass the whole time.
I have
Like,
2
it's-
distortion pedals.
Yeah, it's just like we're just partying. you
Like
know?
our
We don't
live
need
shows
it.
definitely like the
I
vibe.
would have loved it if that sentence just stopped at Doug has a distortion pedal. Like, we're a live band. Doug has a distortion pedal. Like, oh shit.
They're real.
Whoa.
Hardcore.
Okay, sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, that was it.
That was it.
Just Doug has a distortion pedal.
Yeah, with the tour that you're going to be doing, 3 weeks. That's a hefty chunk of time. You're going to be
Definitely.
playing any new cities for the first time?
Well, on that one, we're gonna do some things in the South. But what's coming up in March, we're gonna play Canada.
Ooh,
So that'll be a first
Time.
First time in Canada. Maine. Excited for
Poutine.
Maine.
Hitting all the New England states.
Cambridge,
Yeah.
Massachusetts. So yeah, we haven't went further north than New York City before.
Chicago. Or I don't know.
Or on that side.
Yeah.
So so top of the New England states and the Canada, and then way back to like our normal areas. But
That's
be
super
cool.
fun.
yeah, it's gonna be cool.
So, do you have like what connections up in Canada do you have, or just a band?
Yeah, just bands. It's weekend shows too, so
Yeah.
hopefully it's good.
Definitely. Playing
It
with
should be
Nowhere Fast music.
Yeah.
So like, yeah.
Who is a band we met on our first tour back when we were booking on Facebook.
Yep.
So, when it comes to like when you were starting out and doing all the touring, you're playing with bands, you're making friends. Are you doing anything like extra to keep track of the bands that you're playing with? Are you making any lists? Or are you just like
Yeah.
storing it in your brain?
A little bit of both. As it like became more overwhelming, we started using spreadsheets and whatnot. But it used to be like, I don't know, like obviously remember like what show was fun and which show was like
It's like
funny.
Yeah, super genuine too. You know, it's like people are your friends. You know.
Yeah.
With the band outside of the band, outside of, well, I guess this involves the band. I can make this still band related. So you rent a van and you're all together and you're driving. You're together in this box on the road in America or soon to be Canada.
Soon to be Canada.
All right. What are you listening to on the road? What's in the tape deck?
Depends who's driving.
Our first van, like the radio barely worked.
Yeah.
So
Still own that van if anybody wants to buy it.
For sale.
Don't buy a van. Does anyone want to buy my van?
Don't buy a van. We have one for sale.
Oh, we have a trailer too.
we would trailer too. I think usually like whoever's up front driving and their co-pilot with the map just puts on like Spotify, whatever they want. Like if it's Doug and I, which it normally always is, it's whatever you're listening
Is that
to.
a dig?
So Descendants is on a lot and what
Lots
else
of
you
no
got?
effects.
Podcasts,
If it's me, it's gonna be ska all day.
ska all day.
You're gonna get sick of
We'll
it.
pick up CDs from bands we play with and
Yeah, a lot of that.
pop that in.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of that. Like,
We have
once
a-
you're like 2 shows.
The
in,
glove box is
yeah.
like full of like
Yeah.
CDs and stuff.
What about food on the road?
Oh,
Oh,
dude.
that's what we're all about.
We eat good.
Throw us down.
We actually get made fun of because we put out a video for Tiny New Bedroom, which is a tour video, and people have commented like, "This is the cushiest video I've ever seen, cushiest tour I've ever seen," because we're just like us eating and like being on roller coasters and stuff.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But
We
like,
eat a lot.
we try to eat good. Like a lot of bands will be like, "We're gonna eat at McDonald's, save money," but like a lot of the runs have been like a week long, so we're just like, let's make it like a vacation.
Yeah.
Like we could do that.
Yeah,
We're
like
well off
see what
enough.
each city has to offer. You know, just like
Chicago
really,
was great
So,
for that.
Yeah, we love Chicago hot dogs.
Philly, obviously, cheesesteaks. Chicago hot dogs.
My favorite food.
Oh,
Food in general. My favorite food is a Chicago hot dog from Gina Jude's.
Gina
Actually, no,
Jude's.
two on one.
the
bun.
double dog with fries.
We went there.
I agree with that 100%.
We got in the Chicago super late. Was that our first tour?
Yeah.
And everybody went to sleep because it was like a long day. And Zach and I went to Gina Jude's hot dogs. Got
1
some-
a.m.
1 a.m. Got some. Drove the van and trailer there while everybody's asleep. Got some Gina Jude's hot dogs. Went back to the hotel. Woke up like 5 hours later. Went back to Gina Jude's with the whole band.
Yeah.
Experience was just as good.
Yeah.
In our
Didn't
defense,
even like digest like the hot dogs from the night before yet.
in our defense, that was the only night of that tour we got a motel because we had an off day in Chicago. We wanted to enjoy it. The other days we're sleeping in the van in pilot parking lots.
Which is
So not all the tours are cushy.
yeah. I think people think the tour was cushy too from that video because it was like the way like Zach edited it was like all us like eating food and then like all the crazy show part. At the
Oh,
end.
sure.
So people probably like saw us eating food and like didn't even make it to bed.
Yeah.
It looked like a fucking like an advertisement. Go to Disney World.
Yeah.
Exactly, right.
Family funds. Us.
It was fun for everyone.
But it's like that's the point of the video, you fucking nincompoops.
Yeah, you want to
Like,
see us like living like trash that we
You wanna
are?
see us
Like,
I mean,
singing?
some
Yeah,
people-
right.
Some people do.
yeah.
Sitting in
Well-
the van, not doing anything, just
Yeah. Stupid.
If
Sleeping outside in a cot.
so, does anybody remember like back in the day when Denny's was doing the thing and they had like bands on the Denny's food menus and like
Yeah.
they had like food
Yeah.
items for the band members? Like there was like a Huba Stank burrito.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if
It's
there
called
was
a Stanky Rito.
if there was ever a Lotus Kid Denny's food collab,
Something
what-
disgusting.
What would the item be
It'd be
on
called,
that menu?
It'd be called the Trash Lord, and it's just they just go and get all the table scraps.
It'd be like a scrapple from
No,
like,
that's
but it'd be the
gross.
Pittsburgh version, just mashed up whatever.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things from Denny's is their fried cheese melt, the grilled cheese with mozzarella sticks in it.
Oh yeah.
But it's gonna have to be something
Something like
like
that.
disgusting.
Something overly indulgent that you're gonna leave regretting.
What if it was a grilled cheese and it had the cheese sticks in it, but instead of it being like 4 cheese sticks, it was like cheese stick, hot dog, cheese stick, hot
Oh,
dog.
it'd definitely be
Oh
hot.
my
Yeah, 'cause
God.
we,
Oh, my
hot
mind.
dogs is
Throw
big
in
with
the
our band.
Chicago
I'm
too.
getting
hot
that.
dog.
See,
Yeah,
We were hot dogs multiple times for Halloween.
I know that you guys already have a food manager, but if you need like a food or a manager, but if you need a food manager or a
Yeah.
branding food ambassador,
I think
I'm
we-
happy to
I think we do.
take the reins.
Add
on
to the
this.
Excel sheet.
We need
what's
to make
made in
a-
each city.
I will send Denny's an email. Be like, yo, we got this idea.
The fried cheese melt rolled up, 2 hot dogs in it, chicken strips.
What about a hot dog cut in half?
Oh, how about this? Instead of bread, it's chicken strips.
Oh my God.
Big
So it's like a
chicken
KFC
strip.
double down sort of
Yep,
situation.
Yep.
Zach loves food so much he left our drummer and photographer in jail across the state, literally for a cheese.
That is an exaggerated story.
It is
It's
not
Well, let's
exaggerated.
dig into this because I'm curious.
Oh, no.
So some of our dudes on the tour go to jail. That sucks, right?
For trespassing.
Well, we're concerned about them.
pictures.
You know, they don't have their phones because they're in jail. Zach's like, well, I waited long enough. It's been like 3 hours. He's like, I'm going to get cheesesteak with other band, and then I'm driving to the other show, and I'm going back to Pittsburgh.
exaggerated.
So what really happened, Zach?
First thing I did when I woke up was called that jail. I called them.
Like an adult.
Our friends Riley and Cree were there, and I said, "Are our boys there?" And they said, "I can't tell you that."
You
over
can't
the
say
phone."
our boys there to the police.
I did.
That's probably why they didn't tell us.
They said, "I can't tell you that." So-
Yo.
ID.
and it was it was a Saturday, and that Monday was Labor Day, so they're like, they're not probably seeing a judge till Tuesday, and we're like, well, fuck.
So Zach's like, well, I need my cheesesteak, and I'm going back to Pittsburgh.
Our plan that day was to go eat cheesesteaks, and they were like, they're like, well, they're not getting out of jail for a while, so we had a plan to go down there, but we wanted to get cheesesteaks, so we went to get cheesesteaks, and as soon as we pulled up, we got a call from them. They're like, they're letting us out because it's too full in here, so they're like, okay, well, let's go back, and I was like, I'm already here. I'm gonna hop out with the other band.
Literally
eat,
jumped out of a moving van.
and you guys can go
Yeah,
get them.
it was literally like we didn't have a second to spare, and he was out.
So
Got your
you can call me an
cheesesteak.
asshole. If you
How
want.
did they end up in jail?
So we played a show in Philly,
at the pharmacy,
the pharmacy, which was in like
South Philly.
South Philly, and it's like very similar, like the South Side of Pittsburgh, like very tight. streets,
Way
whatever.
scarier.
Way scarier.
Yeah. Most
Yeah.
of Philly in general is pretty,
Yeah,
a lot
definitely.
scarier than Pittsburgh.
We have van issues. I'm driving the thing, it catches on fire. Me and Doug pull the thing over, so we need to get a tow after the show. And
This is the same weekend.
Yeah, this is the same
this
night.
is the start.
Same
Like,
night.
this is
This is
this
the
is
start
like a
of it.
9-day
Okay,
run.
yeah,
This is
all
like
right.
the
Jesus Christ.
end of the weekend. This is like the second to last show. This was like a Friday show, or there was a Saturday show, and then we had
Yeah, and then
Sunday
we played.
next day.
I think Harris.
So the van's like on fire. It's like I have a video of it.
it's smoking. Yeah.
Yeah, Doug's yelling at me in the video. He's like, "I'm taking a video. It doesn't do it." So we get the thing pulled over, play the show, call for the tow truck. We need like a flatbed that can like fit like the van
And trailer.
the trailer. So it takes like 7 hours or some shit. So we're sitting there just bored all night, and our photographer Riley and our fill-in drummer, by the way, who just met my band for the first time on this tour. They got kind of bored, so they started taking some photos, and they went into a construction site.
Oh.
So I guess the person who was building this building is like some Trump guy, like some like
He was trying to gentrify
gentrifying
the city.
douchebag who's
No
like,
one likes him.
Yeah, no one likes him, right? So
Walnut
he's-
Capital, got
Yeah,
it.
capital guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's had his like properties like torched and whatnot. So his security is like on it. So they trip a sensor. And so my friend Riley calls me. He's like, "Hey, I'm on the roof." And I see him. I'm like, "Oh, I'm going up there." So I walk across the road and there's like literally, other kid, you're not like 5 cop cars coming. And I just like turn around. I was like, "Hey, there's a bunch of police." So I don't go up. And the arresting officer who goes into this area steps on a piece of drywall that's laying over a hole. It's like on the ground, and he's heavier than the drywall, right? So he falls through it and he gets stabbed in the leg with a piece of rebar. This dude's just like pissed. So he took our friends to jail, and he was like really mad because he was like, "Oh, you're wasting our time. Like there's people out here dying in the streets and like getting shot and having heart attacks, and this is like what you're wasting my time with." All the other officers were like, "This guy sucks, but can't do anything about it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang.
So they went to jail.
They got out like
The next
14 hours later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
we made
like,
it to the next show, and it was
we
fine.
made it to Harrisburg on time, but I think we had to sit forever randomly in Philly just waiting for them to get released.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah, we
why
waited
would
in
I
the
just sit
parking
there and
lot.
do nothing when I could eat Philly cheesesteak? Like I'm not the
Someone
bad
had to-
guy.
someone had to
Solidarity.
wait. We stick together.
Solidarity
If I'm
for
in
our
jail, I
boys.
want you guys to eat whatever you want.
Oh, if
All
you're
right.
in jail,
I-
you can
I
leave me
did
playing
down
guitar the
too.
rest of the tour.
That's fine. Do what you want.
So we'll see how
I'll
that
allow it.
goes. I'm gonna check in after this March run and find out if anybody's still in Canada.
Leave me in Canada.
Right.
Poutine.
What would you do if I went to jail?
Oh my
I'm
god.
so
We would.
Would you call him up like, "Yo, keep him. He's wanted."
I would
got
become the
warrants.
new
I got
lead
dirt on
singer.
him.
Look what your mugshot would be in, though.
Yeah, that bolo ties up to no good.
Oh, I
With the
got it on my
biggest smile on your
passport.
face.
I say his passport's in that bolo
It's
tie.
filthy.
I got this in Amarillo, Texas. I like both kinds of music, country and western.
So that's a good question, actually. If there's any, sort of, if you're being genuine with me right now,
Okay.
is there anything that you listen to or go around the table that may surprise people?
Oh,
Probably everything because I don't listen to pop punk. So I like Blink 182. Like I'm not gonna like lie about that. I don't know like
I like fart jokes. I,
know-
like
I
hot
know- you
dogs.
like older
I'm an
like-
adult.
I like older pop. If like No Effects and Rancid are pop punk, I love that.
Yeah.
I know like 2 Wonder Years songs. Yeah, I don't. Oh, I guess I'm supposed to talk about what I do like, not what I don't
Yeah.
like. I'm sorry. I don't know. Like, do you mean just in general or like?
Yeah. If there's anything that would be like surprising.
Okay, here's
like,
something
really-
weird. When Steve started playing with us, we both like love jazz music.
Yeah.
So over the summer, I was like going through some shit. So I went out and
jazz.
bought an upright bass. I already had one, but I want another one. And I went over to Steve's house, and
We just-
Steve's a music teacher.
Yeah, I went to school and like for jazz.
Got
so,
it.
like, yeah, that's like
And you got to know theory to play jazz, and I don't know
Wait.
theory. Like,
we just had like some crash courses.
Yeah.
and we
Yeah,
did- we
just
just like
we could play some
yeah,
jazz.
we just
together.
we like learned a bunch of like jazz standards and stuff. You know,
It was a good time.
That's awesome. What about you, Zach?
I haven't really dove into anything new in a while.
Zach's super into pop music.
I do listen
Yeah,
to like
definitely.
pop punk, like
no pop music.
Yeah, okay, I'm getting there. I do listen to like the Wonder Years, neck deep, typical pop punk that you'd think you'd listen to. I do love pop music, like radio songs. Like I'm about a lot of them.
you fuck with Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish, dude.
We
I
love Billie Eilish.
Lately, I've been just like listening to like lo-fi and like chill step beats and like I like classical music. Just like vibing music, dude.
Yeah.
The stuff that's gonna just keep me like chill, just like cool. Like while I drive, that's all I listen to.
What classical music do you listen to?
Oh, dude, the one with the piano.
Zach's driving down the road eating a hot dog.
classics.
Listening to Beethoven's Fifth. Just
I found a playlist
Crushing
that's
it.
like classical, like remade, so it's more like beats behind it, which I really enjoy. But I haven't gotten into
yeah.
anything like substantial, I guess, lately. But yeah, just vibe music, you know.
what about the
like-
1975? They're a pop band.
I like them. I haven't listened to them in a while. They're that chocolate
Mm,
album.
okay.
That's old.
No,
now.
That's
Chocolate
so
Flavor.
old.
I
That's
don't
my
listen-
favorite songs.
So I don't
Dude,
listen to anything
It's
new.
a slap.
And that's like one of the newest bands I like.
I've
And they're
really-
not new. They're like 2013.
Yeah, I have a hard time keeping up with new music personally.
Yeah.
I've been getting better recently just because we have like a group chat and we have like a thread in our group chat that's only for sending new music. So we use Slack.
That's cool.
Do you use Slack for
No,
like? How do you have? Do you have like any sort of a band messaging thing?
iMessage.
Just iMessage.
Yeah,
All of us
okay.
have iPhones somehow.
Okay, so yeah, we started using Slack, which is like a messaging thing for like big teams,
Yeah.
and basically it works the same as like any sort of messaging thread, but you have channels. So like you can divide the thread up
Oh.
between
Oh, that's
topics.
It's like Discord.
Yeah.
That's
So it's like so we have basically a Slack, and there's one that's like, this is all just bullshit, like whatever you want to talk
Yeah.
about here. And then there's one that's like, if you're sending music links, it's like all music sharing.
that's
This is
cool.
all upcoming shows, all recording stuff, just so
That's awesome.
things
So it's
don't
like
get lost
It's like
in the
one
sauce.
chat, but you can have it divided into.
Yeah,
That's
and
cool.
I haven't like checked it in a while, but we have like a music one, and like it still shows unread on my thing. And if I ever have time, I'll just click on that, and it's like,
Nice.
oh shit,
That's
there's
cool.
all the stupid metal links that they've been sending. Doug, what are you listening to? That's weird, if anything.
Literally, what I look like is what I listen to.
I love that.
I love really old punk. I love traditional hardcore. I want to, bob my head, get a little angry. But I'm not an angry guy. I just, want to hear them two steps. I don't listen to a lot of radio. I haven't lots of turn on the radio. I listen to a shit ton of books because I drive so much. That's like what I listen to probably the most over music. Huge Stephen King fan. Shout out.
All right. And outside of the jazz, do you have
All right.
anything? I mean, if you said you were teaching music.
Yeah.
Okay. So you already have probably a much wider palette
Totally.
by default.
Yeah. Totally. Like I love ska. I play in so many ska bands. So I love
Steve played the last Warped Tour with a ska band.
Yeah, Stacked Like Pancakes. I played the big festival in New Jersey. That was awesome.
Hell yeah.
Steve's so cool.
Scott Master General.
Such a cool-
I play in a ska band, right? So what were you gonna say?
No, I was well, you finish. and
All
then
right.
I'll-
No, yeah, I love ska.
That's it.
Yeah,
Ska,
I love ska.
I love ska.
No, but I really dig like poppy guitar driven stuff too, like Still Woozy. I really fuck with that. Oliver Tree. I love.
Oh, yeah.
I
But
like him.
I also really fuck with like hard raps. Just like I want to hear bars all day, like Denzel Curry, like Joey Badass. Like
Will you produce rap?
I do produce rap as well. I fuck with like Kenny Beats and stuff like that.
As a music teacher,
Yeah.
are there any genres of music that you think get a lot of slack or like negativity that you think should be looked at from more of a creative standpoint than maybe they get acknowledged for?
Totally. Trying to teach kids metal and like, more alternatives, like progressive rock is like, like you almost have to teach them like theory, and like it can be mind bending for someone who just wants to like, maybe not be super serious about guitar and music and just do it as a hobby, but they want to play like a cool, like, I don't know. Like if you wanted to like teach them a Korn song, that'd be like really difficult. It's like, this is some hard shit that like kids usually end up, thinking, So I definitely feel like that sort of stuff kind of gets lost in the mix, honestly. Yeah.
I think there's so much auxiliary stuff, I imagine, in the performance of a Korn song that's like it's so effects driven.
Yeah.
So it's like you can learn how to technically play what's happening, but it's not going to
gonna-
sound correct
Exactly.
unless you have
Exactly. Yeah.
this stack of pedals aligned in a certain way.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah. And then a lot of like poppy stuff nowadays too is like slick. You know what I mean? It's like but more from like a songwriting perspective, not so much like, difficulty to play, but like, maybe from like chord structure perspective. I've noticed a lot of that, like going back to like that Still Woozy or like the Oliver Tree stuff. A lot of that's like pretty slick. And I think, it's like there's a little more going on there than it maybe gets credit for.
Yeah, I find in general, especially being somebody that exists in the metal world a lot,
Yeah.
seeing a lot of shit on, stuff like Billie Eilish and things like that. And it's like writing that kind of music, something that's like writing minimal music, minimal pop, like a lot of the Billie Eilish stuff, that's insanely complicated to
Yeah.
like do and make it work.
Yeah.
It's such a fine line.
Yeah, it's like, you know, writing a technical metal song could be real easy if you're just going scale, 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 sweep, sweep, sweep. If you're going crazy, it's just like you're just throwing a bunch of shit, and even if there's one thing that's a little off, it still sounds crazy. You're just creating chaos.
Whereas like Billie Eilish like whisper sang her way to like 7 Grammys or whatever she won. You know what I mean?
It makes you focus on the song because there's a smaller palette.
Totally. Or like
You can get away with a lot more.
like Hosier, like people like fuck with him so hard because of his voice. He has this like crazy vibrato, and like a lot of his songs are just like, you know, like when he like goes out on tour, I'm sure he can do pretty much every song with just an acoustic guitar, you know, because the songs are so bare and like broken down.
That's a good song. A good song is a song you can play on acoustic guitar at a party and people
Or
like
piano.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah, just taking the chords and melodies.
Break it down.
If you ever
there,
bust out
that's
some
good.
Beethoven at a party?
I mean, again, like, don't get me wrong. You could go back to like a, you know, like an old school punk or hardcore, and maybe, I mean, I guess maybe some of that stuff you can maybe play on acoustic guitar.
Oh,
It wouldn't
absolutely.
sound-
Linoleum. How many times have we drunkenly played Linoleum?
A lot.
Yeah. Everybody at the party loves it.
but there's definitely, I think, probably exceptions to the rule. But I definitely think that overall,
Yeah.
there should be some sort of a rhythm, chord, melody that this could be stripped down to.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But also, every song doesn't have to be good.
Not every
Like,
song
not
can
technically
be.
good. Like
Right.
something
Yeah.
that's technically bad can be great.
Absolutely.
That's why we're here.
So, with all of that being said, we're going to be wrapping up here very, very shortly. But before we do that, is there anything else that we want to talk about, or would you want to tell everybody where they can find you?
Yeah, real quick, we dropped a single off of the upcoming EP, Imbalanced. It's on Spotify.
That's important.
It's everywhere.
Check
It's been
it out
the
on
show.
Spotify.
Yeah, Spotify.
You reviewed it.
I did.
Oh, yeah.
This is trash.
I did. That was
Yeah.
garbage.
Yeah, you did.
Hot garbage.
And the dude from Hard Times said we were outdated.
Would have
Yeah,
been popular 10 years
There's
ago.
like a Hard Times podcast now.
Oh, really?
Oh, I guess they like sponsor it, right?
I think
It's
it's
like
just
people that like write, I think, for the Hard Times, and we sent in
The
that
single.
song. Actually, we didn't even send in that song. We just sent like our Spotify page, and they were like, they picked this song. I think the other guy was like, no, they didn't. He was like, no, this is a new song. They picked it. He said it was like good, but he was like, yeah, it sounds like
10
the
years
story so
ago.
far or something.
It's outdated. What was the word you used? When describe breaking down people
Let's-
with like breakdowns. Not
Yes,
amateur.
don't listen to us because
adolescent.
Adolescent. Yeah, we're adolescent, which is just a fancy way to say we're outdated.
Yeah.
But we're bringing it back. Is what it is.
I remember when I listened to the track, I think the one thing that just didn't stick with me was the amount of part changes.
Tempo change.
That one is a
But
lot of different.
That's very like, but that's a
It's a characteristic.
that's a
of, like,
characteristic
lot
of the
all-
genre.
Yes. Yeah.
Which I think I said, and I also said that I don't listen to a lot of music like this, so I get it. So
Right.
for the style of music, it's
Yeah.
successful in accomplishing that, but it's hard for me to make like a really solid critique on something that I'm not actually like a super duper fan of.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like
makes
that would
sense.
be like, I don't like pizza. Like if I was that kind of a monster that didn't like pizza, and then going around reviewing pizza, it's
Yeah.
like, you know, go fuck yourself.
right.
Right.
Makes sense.
But the production sounds great. Really clean. Really good.
Thanks, man.
Fun, upbeat.
Yeah.
And I'm stoked.
It's the vibe.
Stoked for you guys. Y'all having fun? You enjoying doing this still all these years later? Is
Absolutely.
Everybody having a good time?
It's starting to finally kind of come together. So it's starting to get to the point where it's worth it. We're starting to tour more, release more music. This is the only band I've ever been in that we've released a second album.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, don't
This
speak
is the-
yet.
Yes,
It may never come
It's
out.
not June.
But yeah,
Yeah, plenty of time to fuck it up, right?
we could probably do that in time.
Plenty of time to get arrested and not get out.
Yes.
And before I hit this done button, let people know outside of Spotify where they can find you on the internet. If you give a shit.
Yeah,
What's your TikTok
Yeah.
account?
Zach has a
I do
TikTok.
have a TikTok.
It's called, I'm not lying. Let's see if I
You
get
can
it right.
put our music in your videos on TikTok.
Your Chicken Party Boy 69.
Just Chicken Party Boy.
Just Chicken Party Boy. We're on Instagram at Lotus Kid Band. We're on Facebook,
literally everywhere.
Twitter at Lotus Kid Band is the tag for all that stuff.
Mhm.
iTunes, whatever distro kid puts us on.
Yeah.
Everything.
Deezer.
Deezer.
Oh, we are. I think
We're on
we are.
Napster. It's true. We really are.
Uh-huh.
Hell yeah.
Who the fuck's using Napster?
My uncle,
One guy.
Uncle Wallace. He tells me all the time.
Uncle
I'm not
Napster.
cool. I use Napster. I'm like, that is cool.
Hell yeah, dude. And that is all, folks. Thanks so much for being here. One more time, Lotus Kid. Thank you all.
Thank you.
It's been a lovely treat.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
I'll be back again in a couple days with another episode. Same time, same place, same channel. You know the drill. My name is Sykes. Start the beat 2020. Woo woo. Thanks for listening. Goodbye. We're done.